Hello and welcome to episode 199 of the Heart of Markness Led Zeppelin podcast. Guten Tag. Well, last week we lost Jeff Beck, and this week, or today, we lost David Crosby. Oy. Almost seems like once people get into like close to 80, they start to fall. Super bummer. I am not looking forward to the rest of the year. It's just gonna, it's time for this to happen for people. And it just breaks my fucking heart. Although that is the circle of life. Anyway, on to happier things. Robert Plant. Are you happy? I said Robert Plant. It is a Robert Plant show, not just a Robert Plant show. A Robert Plant show recorded by Saint Michael Millard. And distributed, or I should say, restored, transferred to digital, and then distributed freely by the Almighty Gems Group, who acknowledged me. So now, they said, keep up the good work. They say they enjoy the spirit of my podcast, which my brain is saying that means they hate every other part of it, but they like that I enjoy live recordings and appreciate the importance and majesty therein. Who knows? It's great. They're great. And thank God they exist to gather, not just Mike Millard, but they handle the archives and collections of myriad tapers and then present them. East Coast, West Coast, middle of the coast. They do really good work with the transferring. Yeah, it's not like translating. No. With the restoration and transferring of tapes to digital. And then once they're in digital, you don't really have to worry. As long as it's, in the cloud in multiple places, you don't have to worry about any kind of degradation. Like tapes degrade. We all know this. You have, if you are my age or older, I'm going to be 55 at the end of this month, you probably have or had a shit ton of tapes that you made. Either of live stuff or just, mixtapes. I was big on the mixtapes, man. And they degrade over time. And master tapes, studio master tapes, degrade over time. And literally, you can put it on and it will just shed the oxide right off the plastic binder or paper binder if it's super old. And these guys take all these lovingly, painstakingly translate and restore and then distribute it freely on dime a dozen and probably other places. I find them on dime a dozen all the time. And it's so hugely important because every show that was taped and then every show that was then converted to digital and put on the internet allows that artist to live a little bit more fully and allows some person somewhere to discover that show for the first time and just have their minds blown. I get contacted by people who are like, holy shit, I didn't know there were all these Led Zeppelin bootlegs. I just had the one I got in high school and it sucked and I didn't listen to it anymore. I didn't know there was all this cool shit. And that's the best thing. That's ultimately why I'm doing this, is just for that for that one person, hopefully more, to be like, oh my God, there's a whole world of beauty and wonder that I was not aware of. And this is one of them. St. Mike Millard is kind of the king of the roost for these as far as quality goes. He would map out the venues. He would know where the best spots were sonically for taping. He had the best equipment, Nakamichi rig, AKG mics. He would pay off some of the guards. He got to know some of the guards. Sometimes he'd trade tapes for access. Sometimes he just gave them money. Sometimes he had to fucking hide and run. Sometimes he got kicked out. But because of that, there's dozens, hundreds maybe, I think we're in the hundreds now, of shows that he had taped that are now available for free online thanks to the Gems Group, bringing his name and his legacy into the spotlight because he unfortunately passed away in, I think, 1994, 95. Almost 30 years ago, he's been gone. So, they do God's work. And they provided this tape as well. Another Mike Millard, Master. Oh, is it a Master? Let me see if it's a Master or a first gen. I don't remember. Master! This is right off the tape that Mike had at the show, spinning in his jacket pocket or wherever he had it. No, it was a Nakamichi. Under his wheelchair, if he had the wheelchair. Shit, it's amazing. All right, this is Robert Plant, 1990, the Manic Nirvana tour. Those of you who remember know that in 1988, completely unrelated to the flop of his previous emo album, Little by Little, where he tried to be super electronic and eclectic and had some hits and misses, but it was not a huge hit. It was a flop. So that had nothing to do with the fact that he then grew his hair out and started singing Led Zeppelin songs again. Nor, I'm sure, was there any relation to the fact that 1988 was the year he turned 40. So, 100%, zero chance of Manic Nirvana and then Now and Zen preceding it with his brand new band of youngins who do lots and lots. Digital drums, keyboards, non-blues guitar, son-in-law bass player, who was not his son-in-law yet. And it was a hit. He had hits. He wanted to generate hits, and he did. But in doing so, well, I mean, the whole solo thing is kind of... He had hits the way that Kylie Minogue has hits, and Falco from the 80s. I'm trying to think of 80s bands. Animotion. Hugely popular songs, but no one's like, my God, this is going to last throughout the ages. This timeless music of absolute musical virtuosity will never fade from the consciousness, like Led Zeppelin or the Stones. No, this is mass consumption pop music, rock, hard rock, but fluffy. Doesn't mean it's bad, but there's kind of a difference between Bad Company and Led Zeppelin, in that if I was going to outer space for a 20-year voyage to Alpha Centauri, and I could only take a handful of albums, Led Zeppelin would be on that list, and Manic Nirvana would not. So, moving along to this. In fact, I saw this tour. The Black Crowes opened for him in Worcester, Massachusetts, on their, like, they had just appeared and brought back, in my mind, rock and roll. That was finally like, oh, this is what I've been craving. It's good to have this kind of music back again in the 80s, because, you know, I had the big hair. I had hair in the 80s. I mean, I did all that, but I didn't dig the neon. I didn't dig the bands like Poison and Warrant and all that cock rocky stuff that was just, it felt like product to me. So then Robert came out, and then Jimmy came out on Now and Zen, and, you know, Jimmy did the same thing, by the way. In 1988, Jimmy decided that, oh my goodness, I forgot that I was in the best band that ever lived and that people loved it. Maybe they didn't come out to see me play Make or Break or Fortune Hunter. Maybe, although they may like that, maybe they would really, really fucking like if I played something from the other band I was in, the biggest one in history, except for the Beatles. So they all did that. I don't know if it was a spoken or unspoken agreement, but probably a business meeting of like, hey, I don't like being second tier famous. Nor do I, says Jimmy. Looks like we may have to play some Zeppelin again. I will if you will. I will if you will. Right on. Shake hands. They each did some tracks on each other's albums. Robert did Only One on Outrider. Jimmy did Heaven Knows and Tall Cool One on Now and Zen. And then lo and behold, they're in the news because they're playing Zeppelin again. That's what this is. It's good. Great tour. High energy. Fun, fun, fun. Robert's voice is great. It's nice to hear him roar again. Yeah. This is 1990, August 10th, Irvine Meadows, Irvine, California. Mike Millard. I rambled on enough. And I always start off with like, these guys suck. Let's listen to him. By the end, I'm like, oh my God, he's so good. That's me blowing Robert Plant because I'm so in love. So let's get started and watch me change my tune after playing these tunes. Friendos, the first song I will play for you is Tie-Dye on the Highway, off of Manic Nirvana. So this is a song off the album he's touring with. And it is fun. Had some fun lyrics. Oh, what is it? Mystic Biscuit. It was on his tour program. Around a mandala, I think, with a smiley face. I don't know. Mystic Biscuit. Holy Moses, mi amigo. Something like that. Cool lyrics. I mean, fun lyrics. It's a very fun, lighthearted, tongue-in-cheek. Hey, everybody in my band is in my 20s, so let's pretend I am too. Woohoo. Tie-Dye on the Highway. Man, enjoy.
What we have in mind is breakfast in bed for 400,000. You feeling good? You feel all right? Are you in the mood?
There we are. See, kind of canned, processed. He was good. It seemed to be kind of at the upper levels of his register at times. The very tie dye on the highway. See, I can't even sing it, and I'm me. All right. Here is the band for this tour, and the band that was on the album. We have Chris Blackwell on drums, Doug Boyle, lead guitar, Phil Johnstone, 'cause I'm your tall, cool one, and I'm built to please. You stroll, you strut. That's him, Phil Johnstone, keyboards. He also co-wrote the entire Now and Zen album, and also co-wrote a bunch of songs on this album as well. He was Robert Plant's writing partner, hence probably the big change in style, because Robert's like, I don't know what the kids are listening to. Charlie Jones on bass and on Robert's daughter later on, and then Robert Anthony Plant. Good man. Good God. Yes, I did see this tour. Black Crowes opened. Absolutely smoked the joint. And then Reeves de Gabrel, the guitarist for Tin Machine, which was Bowie's turning 40, I'm not old, it's been a little bit since I've had a hit project, came out and jammed with him. And it was great. It was so good. And then Robert came out. And we watched that. So now we're going to hear my favorite song on his third album. Yes, Shaken and Stirred, the one that bombed. Little by Little. I do love this song. I think it's really well done. I think it's super cool. I think it's honest and emotive about where he was in life. And I really dig it, and I'm glad he kept playing it for, half a decade anyways. I don't remember if he played it on the Fate of Nations tour. Now that tour was fucking lit. All right, Friendos. Same place, same folks, different song. Little by little, brown, brown. Enjoy.
was good. I like that. Okay. I don't quite understand what this means here. It's a very sour yellow fruit. It comes from way back. I used to have one of them myself. Oh. This next song is the title track from our latest extravaganza, Into the Absurd. And you can join in on the bits that go, oh. Can you do that? Oh. Oh. It's called Nirvana.
I do like that song. I do like that song. Well, it is time for the spiel. So regular listeners, scrub ahead 90 seconds. You can find me on all the places you can find podcasts. Apple, YouTube, and well, everywhere you can find podcasts because you found me, right? I hate it. That's something all podcasts say. So I feel like I must say it. It must have value. But then I'm also like, well, you're telling this to people. I assume you're all human. No shade if you're not. Thanks for listening. But you're all listening, so you've already found me. It's not like I'm saying this and then suddenly, you're walking down the street and an iPhone drops out of the sky and hits you on the head, just says, listen to me, like with a little note, a tag attached to it, like Alice in Wonderland, eat me, drink me, listen to me. No, you've already found me. But in case you were wondering where else you could find me, any place that seems reasonable to find podcasts, you have a reasonable chance of finding me. Thank you for finding me. I also have a Facebook group with a couple hundred of wonderful people. I invite you to join and become another member and be a wonderful person yourself. I'll have a Twitter. I would love it if you followed me on Twitter. For real, for real. Heart of Markness is what all this stuff's called, by the way. Heart of Markness. YouTube, I have a YouTube channel where I put these up on YouTube. Also, Heart of Markness. You're seeing a theme here. And I have a website, heartofmarkness.com, which exists almost solely. I had dreams of throwing other content up and basically stuff that I throw on Twitter going, this is awesome. I intended on throwing on the website and saying this is awesome, but with Twitter, I just press one button and then another button. And with the website, I press a button and then enter login information and then select the post, create post, and then enter the title and then enter the second heading. And it sucks. It's still 5 minutes, 10 minutes tops, but I'm a lazy motherfucker. So, but that's where you can find the shows that I present to you. So you will be able to find this entire concert, heartofmarkness.com, and then download it for free, just as I have downloaded it for free. So, see, this is paying it forward. Thank you, Gems. Now I will give it to others. Here's the set list for the whole show, which I realized I didn't read to you. Sorry, I didn't read that earlier. So the whole show, which again, heartofmarkness.com, you can download for free. Watching You, Nobody's Fault But Mine. Why didn't I play that song? 'Cause, dude. No. Billy's Revenge, Tie-Dye on the Highway, In the Mood, No Quarter, Liar's Dance, Going to California, Little by Little, Nirvana, Oh, I Love You, Love You, Love You, The Immigrant Song, Hurtin' Kind, I've Got My Eyes on You, all right, that's a fun song, Ship of Fools, Wearing and Tearing, first time any of the boys did that live. He did this on this tour, and then when Jimmy joined him on stage for the Silver Clef Awards, performance, concert, benefit, whatever, in 1990 at Nebworth, I think it was at Nebworth, Jimmy came out wearing his Outrider clothes, and they did a short set together with Robert's band, and Wearing and Tearing is one of the songs, and it was badass. Really badass. After Wearing and Tearing, we have Living, Loving, She's Just a Woman, another song played live for the first time, band introductions, and Tall Cool One. Ba 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 bum. Ba 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 ba. See, you don't even need to hear it. You just heard it. So yeah, you can get all that at heartofmarkness.com. Thanks to Robert Plant, and then Mike Millard, and then the Gems Trading Group, and then, ooh, nice natural segue, my patrons, the titans upon whose shoulders rests this humble yet mighty podcast. These people materially support the podcast, which pays for the SoundCloud hosting, the web hosting, the cloud hosting for the shows that you get on Mega, the microphone through which I speak to you, and it's great. Thank you, friends. If you are interested in becoming one of the magical, better than everybody else people, go to patreon.com/heartofmarkness, or hit the Patreon button on heartofmarkness.com. One of my resolutions for this year regarding the website, aside from merch, which I have a great logo, I'm still fucking with it because I'm not good with photo software or Photoshop. So I fucked everything up real bad. Managed to undo most of it, but I lost some momentum. But it's a nice logo, and it will go on stickers and mugs and t-shirts and artillery and hubcaps and dental floss. Any noun you can think of, it will be branded. And I'll sell it to you, motherfuckers. All right. All because of these wonderful folks. And they are one of the benefits you get. You get your own podcast every month. Sometimes you get two. In fact, I do need to do an extra one. All right. Well, the month, it's more than half over. I should get on that. Everybody gets a podcast a month. And then the higher tiers get an additional, even better podcast every month. So that's something to think about. It's not just give me your money. It's give me your money, and I will provide value for that money. So a Laurel and hearty handshake go out to Keith and Tilda, Brian, Matt, Steve, George, Big Ed. Thanks for the comment, man. Glad you like the patron podcast. Yeah, that drone on In the Light. Holy shit. There's depth to it. There's depth. Yes, that's Big Ed. Kenny, John from West Footscray. Picard, Picard. Kneggern. Yes, that's a name. Oh, I lost it. Chris, that's an easy one. Rob from Melbourne, Australia. Wayne, Brad, Danielle, Tracy, David, Bonzo Billy, and Mimo. Thank you, my friends, for supporting me, keeping me honest, keeping me coming back when I'm not in the mood to do it, because I need to do it, because it's good. It's good for me, and it's fun. All right, guys, one more song. The spiel is over. One more song, and then we are done. And that song is Wearing and Tearing. What a good song. What a powerful song. What a strong song. Can you imagine being Jimmy in the studio playing guitar while Robert's singing those lyrics? All about the ravages of addiction and dysfunction. And promises made, promises broken. It's an intense song, but I love it, and it is powerful. All right, guys, Wearing and Tearing. Badass song. Enjoy.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And there we have it. Medication. My favorite part, oh my God, when he's just, it's just an old friend. It's just an old friend. The phrasing on the album. Power, power, power. I love it. All right. Well, we have reached the end of another episode of Mystery Science Theater. Thank you very much for listening. My daughter is with me this weekend. She will be using my computer and my TV to play video games. when I would like to use my computer and TV to play video games. So I will probably be forced to be productive and probably do a classic episode this weekend. I hope so. If not, Patreon or something. So keep your eyes on the road, your hands upon the wheel. Blood in the streets on the... No, blood in the streets. No, blood on my... Fuck! Peace Frog. Blood on my what? On the streets of New Haven. Oh, well, I fucked up. It happens, and if you've been listening, you're used to it. Oh, yeah, it's the end of the podcast. Oh, my God, Robert Plant is the best person in the whole world. That's the greatest band I ever heard. The lock-step, electronic, no swing, no stretching out, no jamming. Bring it, bring it, bring it. Okay, guys, love you. Please be good to yourselves and each other. Adios. And Robert Plant, if you ever listen to this podcast, I love you. Bye.